everyone. Hari ini aku akan melakukan essay makeover. Ini tulisan aku sendiri around berapa tahun lalu ya? Tiga atau 4 tahun lalu. And we're gonna look at how we can improve this essay. Right, so the question was, some people have the opinion that damage to environment is an inevitable consequence of the improved standard of living. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? So as you can see here, ini soal opini ya di sini, right? And artinya nanti harusnya the whole essay itu berisi alasan-alasan kenapa saya setuju atau kenapa saya tidak setuju. So, sekarang setelah kita tahu question type-nya, kita harus lihat apa sih sebenarnya yang pengen dibicarakan oleh si essay ini. So, when you look at an essay, it is important to see the background story here, to see what is actually the specific topic of discussion yang dikasih oleh soal, atau in this case mereka sedang ingin membicarakan bahwa the damage to the environment, ya, kerusakan pada lingkungan adalah konsekuensi yang tidak terhindarkan dari improved standard of living. So they're not only talking about the damage of environment itself, they are talking about how it is actually a consequence atau akibat dari standar hidup manusia yang semakin maju. Okay, so all in all, let's have a look at this essay. Di sana ada 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, which is good karena maksimal, recommended numbers of paragraph di IELTS Varietas itu adalah 4, so it's a good way in terms of the paragraph number. Tetapi coba kita lihat dari isinya masing-masing ya. So the first paragraph is about the introduction. In the introduction, I should have talked about the paraphrase of the question atau pengkalimatan ulang dari questionnya, followed by my plan of the essay. Here is the thing, the problem. If you have a look at this essay, meskipun ini pertanyaan opinion, there is no expressions of opinion. Okay, and that's a huge problem. Tidak ada kalimat-kalimat yang mengandung ekspresi seperti I believe, in my opinion, in my view, in personal view. You didn't see anything here, and that's not a good thing because it is an opinion essay, and that is not introduced at all. The introduction sekalipun gitu. When what I have to do the introduction adalah show to the readers this is what I'm gonna do with my essay, whether I'm going to do an opinion essay or discussion essay or a double questions essay, problem solution essay, whatever it is. And I didn't write anything about it on my first paragraph. That's not a good thing. And okay, let's have a look. Let's focus on the first paragraph here. Kita fokus pada paragraf pertama ya. In the past, people did not have as many privilege of sophisticated facilities as today because the lifestyle in the era was way simpler and less luxurious. As you can see here, Google Docs has given a blue underline and a red underline and on the two words here, privilege and sophisticated. Can you spot the problem? Right, di sini dia harusnya privileges because antecedennya adalah many, meaning ini adalah kata jamak. So that would be the problem. Meanwhile, for this one, it is the misspelling. It's supposed to be sophisticated. That kind of things. Jadi nanti kalau kalian nulis sendiri, it is important to pay attention to the spellings of your words. Bukan hanya soal idenya, tetapi juga detail-detail seperti spellings, punctuation, tenses, sentence structure, and many more. Okay. Well, it's interesting because I was trying to rephrase the question in this paragraph, okay? And I tried to do it within 2 sentences here. In the past, people did not have as many privileges of sophisticated facilities as today, because the lifestyle in the era was way simpler and less luxurious. But as industries have been developing rapidly, the people's way of living has been impacted and transformed in many ways, which leads to the higher rate of consumerism. As you can see in the question, they want to talk about how the environmental damage is actually a consequence of this improved lifestyle, but I didn't mention a thing about this issue of environmental damage, meaning I ignore them totally, and that's not a good sign. Oh, it gives me headache already. So what you should do instead, you would have to include um, how it impacts the environmental damage. I should have included the plan for the essay, which is, I should say, it is an opinion essay. And I didn't do that, right? And I hope you don't repeat the mistakes that I did. And okay, now let's see the second paragraph here. Speaking of consumerism, it is true that today people have the privilege of having easier life by the means of technology. Technology has transformed almost every sector in our society, one of which is food consumption. Nowadays, many people prefer having dinner at fast food restaurants and cooking food by themselves at home. Culinary technology has enabled food to be preserved longer, making it possible to prepare it as quickly as the fast food chains, despite the convenience as experienced by the buyers. A number of detrimental outcomes inevitably entails this type of lifestyle. Okay, here is the thing. Oh, it stressed me out, guys. The problem is that your paragraph should be as clear as possible, as straightforward as possible in terms of answering the question. So the question was asking, what is my opinion about how the improved lifestyle of human impact or maybe the causes the environmental damage. And once again, I failed in clearly state how these things actually directly impact the nature, and it's not a good thing, meaning that I have how should I say, saya sudah melanggar prinsip yang penting dalam penilaian IELTS writing, which was task achievement, di mana saya tidak boleh mengabaikan satupun poin di dalam pertanyaan. And this first paragraph, now I can understand why my teacher was so stressed out. It's not a good sign, it's not a good standard. So actually, here I spent too much portion in explaining the improved lifestyle itself, but I didn't make any link back or any connection to the issue of the environment. I was just talking about the habit of modern people, of how they like eating out, how they have a convenient life, but yeah, then again, I just leave this sentence here and inevitably until this type of lifestyle without being specific what I'm trying to say. Okay, well, and then again, there is no expression of opinion. There is no straightforward statement of preference or partisanship or a stance that I'm trying to that I was stating in this paragraph. So it's terrible example. I'm sorry about it, guys. So let's have a look at the next paragraph here. It is common for fast food products to contain a dangerous fat rate. What does that even mean? I'm not sure. The more frequent people consume it, the more the possibility of becoming overweight, which leads to some health risks, such as cardiovascular problems and cholesterol. Not only it negatively impacts humans, it also causes pollution due to disposable packaging, which are widely used in the fast food chains, such as plastic glasses and boxes. The fact that these wastes are not easily decomposed has made another concern that it will eventually become a huge pile of trash, so that it will harm the environment. Then again, I spent too much proportion of the paragraph talking about how it impacts human, but I just spent like, oh my goodness God, one, two, yeah, only two sentences talking about how it impacts the nature, and that's not a good thing because the question itself wants me to talk about how it impacts the nature, and I just give like two sentences to talk about it, and that's not a good thing. What I'm supposed to do is I used the two of my body paragraphs. Yes, I should have used these two to talk about the environmental consequences, not about the humans. And okay, I have no words, and it's basically a recipe to fail. And now I wonder. Now I realize what makes me stuck at 6.0 in my previous exam 4 years ago. Right. It's not a good thing at all, okay? Seharusnya saya dari awal, dari paragraf body pertama dan paragraf body kedua, I talk about the environment, the specific issue that the question wants to ask about, not being busy with the the improved lifestyle itself, tapi bagaimana hubungannya dengan lingkungan. And I didn't do this, and yeah, don't do it yourself. Like it's not a good essay at all. Paragraph terakhir. To sum up, aside from the progressive changes the technology has made, what kind of progressive changes? I didn't specify what I'm talking about. Oh my god. It is undeniable that intending consequences for the environmental sustainability at stake. Goodness, God. So here is the thing. Okay. So conclusion is your final chance to convince the readers or convince the examiners in this context to believe in what you believe, and in this case to believe in your opinion and your explanation. And in terms of that, your conclusion should include the specific points that you're trying to make. And here is the problem with this conclusion. It's too general for a conclusion. You should be straightforward in summarizing the point that you have written in your body paragraphs, and this conclusion doesn't do that at all. It's not helpful for your readers to read this kind of conclusion because it doesn't show the opinions, like the details of your opinion. I'm not saying that you should repeat what you're trying to say in the body paragraphs in your conclusion. Definitely, that would be too late. But I like the way my teacher taught me about how to make a good conclusion. So in conclusion, you have a really short space to write. Yeah. So it is important to think using the mindset of, or I would say, the framework of thinking that says, if you could answer the questions directly within within two sentences in your conclusion, what would that be? Okay, so when in this case the question was, what would be your opinion about how humans improve lifestyle affect the nature negatively, and I should say it in two concise sentences in my conclusion, and I didn't do that at all. Okay. So all in all, if I should rate this essay right in front of me right now, I would give it like god freaking 5 or 5.5, because it fails to understand the question, because it fails to elaborate, and because it fails to focus on the issues at hand that was being asked by the question, and not to mention all the misspellings, all the punctuations yang tidak tepat, how it basically doesn't fulfill the standards of an IELTS essay in writing test 2. Maybe next time I will try to talk more about how I would change this essay. Okay, so make sure that you watch the other video. Right? Thank you for watching.